Hi, this is John again, and welcome to our community learning site. What I would like to discuss today is a very critical piece for all of our teachers to understand so they can provide the best foundation for student success. I believe that our teachers intuitively already know this, but the problem is this critical piece has been compromised. It has been disrupted by recent school mandates and policies and procedures, mindsets such as teaching to the test instead of educating a student's heart. So, what is this critical piece? Attachment. Attachment is the biological innate drive of all mammals, humans, and of course our students to seek connection, to seek proximity with healthy, mature attachment figures. Attachment figures that can provide them protection, love, affection, attunement to their needs. Attachment figures where a student, a child, can come to rest in the presence of this attachment figure. They can be able to develop and mature once this attachment is secure. Well, how do you form attachments? Well, it really begins with your mindset, okay? To understand that you want to teach and educate through the heart first, okay? Once you get that mindset, then some of your alpha instincts, your intuition about what children need will just begin spontaneously to unfold, and your students will drop right into it when you have that influence and that what we call a neurophysiological feedback loop. It's like when they enter your space, what does a child interpret? What does a child innately feel? Do they feel safe? Do they feel secure? Do they feel that you like them? We know the number one resiliency work has told us for years that the number one factor in student success is if they like the teacher and they feel the teacher likes them. So, and even in the ACEs study, adverse child events, we know that the number one protective factor for kids to bounce back from adverse events is that one nurturing, safe attachment figure that they have in their corner. That is huge. Once you have that connection, then they'll begin to maturate again, they'll begin to stabilize. So what we need to understand is, there's a tremendous amount of strategies you can use to form attachment. We'll be going over quite a few of them in the program. We provide quite a few of them in my training. But just to get you started, what we know is very important is how kids are received when you greet them. That is absolutely critical. So if you have a ritual, which I know a lot of teachers do, when the students first come into the class, okay, how do you greet them? Do you say their first name? Some teachers have a system of giving appropriate physical touch, or giving the kids option for a hug or a handshake, just to make eye contact and to check in with your students when they first arrive. That's critical. And kids will begin to bond, and that'll be one of their see, the one thing with attachment is that predictability and consistency is critical, that kids know that when they arrive they can come to rest in your presence. They can feel safe and that you acknowledge and care about them. That is huge. And the other, let's talk about this. What is a reason why sometimes we're reluctant to greet kids? What would be one reason? Well, one of the big reasons I've seen is our ego. Sometimes the kids won't reciprocate, okay? I like to give the example of when I was a clinical supervisor at Holy Cross Children's Services. Years ago, I was training the foster care staff, and out in the hallway was a young 17-year-old student getting ready to be placed in the foster care. So like I always do, typically with all the young men or young women, is I walked by him and I said, "How you doing, young man?" And pardon my language, but this is what he said. He folded his arms, leaned back, and said, "Shit, do you always come up to people you don't know and talk to them?" See, right there is a critical point. So, understanding that probably this young man isn't offended or has fear because he's in a transition of going into foster care, he's going to be really guarded. So instead of overreacting, all I did is I turned and I says, "You know what, that's a good point. I'll take a look at it." That was it. So then I go back into my training. So I'm training, after the break, I train at lunchtime. So then I come out at lunch. This young man is still sitting in the hallway. Okay, I'd be a little perturbed too, and maybe not too receptive to adults. But this time I'm walking by him, and you know how you can sense, the energy shifting. I could sense that with him. And this time, without saying a word, because again, the way to communicate children to form attachment is with your nonverbals, much more effective than what you say. So I just walked by him, I looked at him like this, and I nodded at him, and he went like this. So boom, that was progress. That sometimes the subtlety of attachment is a beautiful thing. Not overreacting, okay? Not underreacting, but just being, calm and understanding, going past the behavior and understanding what else is this about. Knowing that he's probably in a fear state, or at least he's alarmed, he's going to be a little in fight or flight. So we have to remember that when your students enter a classroom, or they come in on a Monday and they've had a tough weekend, it's really important to have that connection. Okay, the other part of attachment that's really important is how you say goodbye. Okay, at the end of the day, really get a ritual going about how you say goodbye, because so many of our kids have had loss and separation. Sometimes the kids, they lost a caregiver, or the caregiver was inconsistent. They would not know when they would be able to come to rest into the loving presence of an attachment figure. So it's really important that they understand that, Sarah, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And smiling and calm, let them know that the relationship's going to always be intact. Okay, because that's critical. So how you say hello and how you say goodbye, two real good strategies to start forming your attachments with your students.
Good morning, bud. Everybody's choosing bugs today.
Well, what are some other ways to form attachments? One of the most powerful ways is through the use of play. When you create a playful experience, the children will drop right into it. They'll dip into it and soak themselves into that unconditional joy. Play doesn't have outcomes. It doesn't have rules. It's just spontaneous. So I'd like to show you a couple videos. One is with our school counselor, Jeannie Ader, who was trained in trauma informed, and you'll see her working with a couple students, again, in the Wellness Center. And then the other one is a reading program that a colleague of mine, I did some training in Canada, Barb Dorrington, has created a reading program which helps the students, the children, learn how to identify feelings. But both experiences spontaneously create an attachment, creates attachment. Okay, well, without further ado, here are the videos.
Does it feel good? Sometimes we have a lot of stress and tension in our hands, and we don't even know it. And then when someone does this, it's like, whoa, that feels really, really good. Do you like that? Good, I'm glad. Now both. Now you squeeze my hands as hard as you can. Good. Let go. Squeeze my thumbs as hard as you can. Harder. Harder. Harder! Okay, now let go. Now go like this. Shake it off. Now shake your whole arms. Voila! Right, okay? I'll do whatever your hands do.
Tell that she's happy because she has a smile on her face. Show me your happy face. Oh, I love it. Look at your happy face. Oh, wow. Are you happy when you swing on the swing? Oh, look at that. He's crying. His mouth is down. His eyes are down. Show me your sad face. Yeah. Oh, that's a good sad face. Yeah, look in the mirror. Look at your eyebrows and your mouth. You look so sad. I felt sad when I have to say bye to you.
The classrooms that are very high functioning, those that are up and running with it, I tell you what, it's joyful learning.
Joyful learning.
Joyful learning.
Bringing joy back into the learning experience. What a child really needs is joy, fun, and feeling safe in their own body. Then they can learn.
All right, now we're going to shake our bones. You know how to shake your bones? Yeah! You bounce up and down, you shake. Yeah! Shake the bone. Shake it up. Shake. Get all that spliff up. Shake it all out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Woo! Shake it out. Now take a deep breath.
Okay, so a couple examples of attachment work. And to wrap this up, I just want to mention that a lot of us already, I know a lot of teachers already knew this through their intuition about what kids need. We knew relationship was important, but we didn't realize how important it is. So all I'm trying to do is to give you some vocabulary, some words, a language to use, and to, utilize the massive amount of research that tells us attachment is critical, because we all have to swim upstream on this one. You got to deal with the naysayers. So when you go in there, hopefully walk with more confidence and conviction, because it's really about the kids.